Hey there, welcome to Byte-Sized Computer Science. If you're new here, I'm your host Ipsa, and in this series, I'll be talking about computer science in fun, short episodes. This is podcast episode 6, where we'll be talking about how computers really work. You probably use a computer, tablet, or phone every single day, but have you wondered what's actually inside that device when you click a button or play a game? Today, we'll break down what's going on behind the scenes in a simple way, from input to processing to output, and how things like binary, memory, and the CPU make it all possible. Let's start with the big idea. A computer is kind of like a super fast, super accurate helper that can follow your instructions, but it only understands one language, binary. What's binary? It's a code made up of just two numbers, 0 and 1. Think of it like light switches. It can either be off, 0, or on, 1. A computer uses millions of these tiny on and off signals to represent letters, numbers, pictures, and basically everything that you might see on a screen. For example, the letter A in binary is 01000001. And to a human, that might just look like a random ones and zeros, but to a computer, it's a clear message of showing an A. Now, let's break this down into 3 big parts: input, processing, and output. Input is how we talk to the computer. This can be by clicking a mouse, typing on a keyboard, tapping a touchscreen, or even speaking into a microphone. You're giving the computer a job to do. Let's say you press any key on your keyboard and search that up. That's input. The next stage is processing, and this is where the real action happens. The CPU, which is short for Central Processing Unit, is like the brain of the computer. It takes your input and follows instructions to figure out what to do. Imagine the CPU is a really fast chef in a kitchen. You basically hand it a recipe, which is the program or what you're telling it to do, and then it gets to work immediately with data, code, in order to create a result. But the chef can't remember everything, so it still needs a workspace to hold stuff. That's where memory comes in. There are 2 types of memory that computers use. The first is RAM, which is like the chef's countertop, a temporary space to hold things you're working on right now. And then there's storage, which is like a refrigerator or a pantry, where files and data are kept even when the computer is off. So the CPU reads the instructions, uses RAM to help finish the job, and gets your result ready. Finally, the computer sends you the result. That's output. If you press a spacebar in a game and your character jumps, that's the output. So in this case, when you press the spacebar, that is the input, and the computer uses binary to convert that into the output on the game of the character jumping. If you search for something and see a web page pop up, that's an output too. So to sum it up, in order for a computer to work, you input a command and the CPU processes it using binary and memory, and then it gives you an output. Pretty cool, right? You might not see the ones and zeros or the CPU doing its work, but now you know what's happening every time you see a computer. Just like a kitchen needs a chef, a recipe, and ingredients, your computer needs input, a processor, and a memory to serve up results. Next time you open an app or click a mouse, or even just hit play on a podcast like this, remember, it all started with a tiny 1 or 0. Well, that's a wrap on today's episode of Byte-Sized Computer Science. Now you know how computers really work, from input to output, and why binary, memory, and the CPU are the secret superheroes of your device. If you liked this episode, share it with a friend or give us a rating. And as always, bite-sized learning leads to big-time thinking. I hope to see you next time on Byte-Sized.